Hello, we're going to do a demonstration for the SiteCapture web app. The first thing you'll see here when you log in will be a list of all your projects, your types up here, a way to filter the status on your view, search icon. You've got an advanced icon here we'll get to in a little bit, and all of your custom settings. If you are just a normal user, you may not see all of these. Some of these are specific to admin users. Then of course your account settings. So let me first talk about the types up here. So types are generally used as the functional organization of the way the app is used. So in this case, we are a solar installer. So we have a site survey. This is to a technician goes out to the home and records information and photos of the feasibility of solar PV on the system, on the home. You have system completion. This is a installer would capture commissioning photos and data of the system they just installed. And then you have here service repair. Looks like we don't have any service repair projects here. This would be a technician that goes out to a job site, a completed system that is having some kind of issue, diagnoses and makes a repair. So the best way to do this is really where you want projects of one type organized together. So this could also be geography. Let's say you had Texas, Georgia, South Carolina as three kind of functional segments of your business. That might be a better way to separate it. These are very easy to customize here. You just go over here to types, create new, and you can create as many as you like. Keep in mind that templates are all assigned to a specific type. So if you have, let's say you have site surveyors and three new types, Texas, Georgia, and Florida, you'd actually have to create a new template for Texas, Florida, and Georgia, which is not that difficult. You can just copy and paste them or clone them rather, but just something to think about. So to create a project, you just click right here. This is the only template available for a site survey, so we're going to create. And the first thing we're going to do is assign it to a user. And if I want to add a due date, I can do that. And we'll just put in some sample information here. Now, you can fill out as much of the form as you'd like. Once it's assigned, the user it's assigned to will see this project. So I would advise you to go ahead and at least put the customer name and address so the user knows what project they're looking at. But as you can see, these other fields are for the technician to fill out themselves. So you can easily go over here to the sections to scroll down. The other thing you can do is also very helpful is upload a file. Now, I can upload a PDF, and that is then viewable for the user at the bottom of the mobile app, helpful for like job site plans, things like that. Keep in mind that other documents, such as Word documents, PowerPoints, they will upload here, although they are not viewable on the mobile application. Many of our users use this for real-time updates. So let's just say I created Joe Sample and assigned it to a user. I can actually scroll through here and press refresh and actually see photos show up on the web portal in real time. Now that's also considering the user is connected via Wi-Fi or a cellular device. And if they're taking hundreds of pictures and only connected through cellular device, you might see a little bit of a lag here because it does take some time when you have that many photos for it to sync up. But most people are using this for, let's say, 20 to 30 photos, in which case it shouldn't take more than a few minutes for it to sync over the data plan. So let me go into a completed system here. Let's just say in our process we have someone go out and do a site survey. First thing we're going to do is maybe just do a quick review and go, oh, wait a second, I know this home was built in 1971. You can make real-time edits, and that will update the project file. If they left anything unchecked, you can also do that here. Now, if I want to take a look at all of these photos, I can do a quick download by using that button there. and I want to include the high-res photos. So we do have a compression when it will do an automatic download to only include the reduced size photos. But in this case, I want to see if I had assigned a high-resolution photo, I want to see that in high resolution. The other thing I can do is I can create folders for sections. So I don't want to do that because I want to take all 20, 25 photos that I have and drag and drop them into one spot. I don't want to have to open each subfolder, so I'm not going to check that. I'm going to create the zip file. And you'll see this open up. And you can see now all the images. What's great about this is they're automatically named. So we have array location, main service panel. Saves your team a little time. So if I want to drag and drop them, no big deal. Drag and drop them over to whatever you're using to store permanently. An easier way to do this might be just to take a look at the report. Say you don't want to keep all those photos, you just want to take a look at a report. We got a nice clean report here. It includes all the images and data. This logo here would be custom to the account. So your brand would be here if you have your own portal account. You've got all the data, nice clean interface with the photos sorted by the field type, field name here. Got the user, the latitude and longitude, and the date and time stamp. And scroll through our photos. Now another really beneficial thing here is when you click on a photo, number one, you could delete it. If you notice here, there's a little delete button if for some reason they took a photo of the ground. Let's find a better photo to use. It's a picture of the side of the yard. Now, what I can do is if you can see, we've got the coordinates here. So I can click on the coordinates, and this is, I'd say, fairly accurate. You can actually see where the user was exactly when they took that photo. So we're looking at 3201 Stardust, which is this home here. And you can see this is a photo of the side of the home. Let's say you're on the roof and you don't know exactly what direction they're facing. Well, you can now see here that this is taking a photo of this side of the home. Great feature. If you're up on the roof, you can often see the dot on the roof to see which direction you were facing. Because it's latitude and longitude, you can be off by, let's say, 10 feet. But generally speaking, you're not in a situation where you take a photo here and the red dot shows up back here. However, sometimes when you're taking a photo on the roof, you might show it maybe over here because it's about 10 feet off. If I want to add any comments, I can do that here. And I can continue to scroll. Again, if I want to change anything, I can. If I just want to fill out the form, let's say I had gone out to the site and taken maybe 10 photos, but I forgot my phone and only had the photos handy. I could just fill out the form on the web application and then just upload the photos just by dragging and dropping here. Very easy to do. So we'll take a look at some of the features on the admin side. To change your company settings, you can click here. Just a few noteworthy settings, actually on the settings tab. Can create projects from mobile app. Some companies don't want their field users to be able to create a project from scratch. They want to be able to create the project, an admin create the project and assign to a field user. So in this case, we have that turned on where a field user could create it from the app. Helpful to keep it on when, let's say, you're doing site surveys all day and you know you've got one extra that you need to get in that day that wasn't assigned. You can simply create it from the app. Very easy. Can share projects from the mobile app. Again, I have this one checked off because I want the users to be able to share. So the sharing function, let me show how that works. From the app, you can click on this button here. It looks the same from the app. You could also do this from the web portal. This allows you to share with other field users. So let's just say you're doing a commissioning on a large project and it takes 3 or 4 different people to complete, let's say, a 500 question type inspection form, you can share, and that way the project is not overriding one another. So you never want to use the same login. Each 4 users have their own login. They're just completing the same form at the same time. Always helpful for large projects. Another useful way to use that share is often in solar you'll have a roofing crew and an electrician crew, in which case you share it with both the roofing crew and electrician, so that way they can complete their sections of the same project and not override one another. So let's go back here. Filter out completed projects in mobile app. Highly encourage you to do that. In fact, I would say you're probably doing yourself a disservice by having that unchecked. This allows completed projects to be removed from the mobile application and not to clutter your field users' views. One option here is show labels for hidden conditional fields. So this is used if you have conditional fields in a template, such as, are there microinverters? Let's say you have 5 or 6 questions you want to ask if there are microinverters, so you make those 5 or 6 questions contingent on the answer to are there microinverters being yes. So if you click no and this is clicked, then what will happen is the user will see those questions, but they'll be grayed out, so they can't actually complete them. And if you have it unclicked, they won't even see those questions. I prefer to have this unchecked. That way you don't bog down the user with a bunch of questions that they aren't going to need to answer. Can take rapid fire photos in mobile app. Again, I would always encourage you to have that checked. That allows you, when you select the camera icon in the mobile app, to take several photos before returning back to the project view. In most cases, your users are taking 4 or 5 photos, 1 or 2 photos, multiple photos, we'll say, of one field type. So it's kind of a pain to have to go back and forth to the project. So I like to leave that on. You can change the ratio from a 1:1 to a 4:3. You can add complex passwords if your company security settings require that. You can also allow uncheck this if you don't want non-admin users to be able to create projects from the web app. You also do some different email notifications upon creation and upon assignment. And I encourage you to go ahead and fill these in with custom email options. So we'll go over here to templates. One thing and I will do a complete template demonstration, but we'll go into an active template here, site assessment form. You can see we have another one here, but this one is disabled, so it doesn't show the enabled button. So let's go into this one. Just some notes on completing templates. They're very easy to do, much like a Google Forms interface. Very easy to create new fields. Put in your field name, your description, the field type. So we have Boolean, which is yes or no. We have a text field that allows the user to put in as much text as they want. Integer, keep in mind this does not allow you to do decimals. Selection, which you can do, type in your different selections. You can also upload a file if you have a CSV file with a lot of different things in it. Close that out. A dollar amount, we have image. This is only going to require to take an image. It's not a separate data field that also allows you to take an image. An agreement, so if we said, I will be safe today, that the user has to accept before they continue. This could also be for customer acceptance, all kinds of things. Date, barcode, be sure to go ahead and check all of these off when you're using a barcode. Signature, this opens up a signature pad for the user to sign, or maybe a customer signature, acceptance signature, something like that on the mobile application. And long text, this is when you're going through like a full description and you want the user to be able to type out multiple sentences. Now we also have validation type here. At least one photo is required, at least one comment is required that you can select here. Let's say you always want a photo address, street address. And we're going to make this a text field. I normally just copy and paste these, but I want at least one photo required. And I want this whole field to be required. Now, by checking this, I'm basically saying a project cannot be completed without this field being completed. So be careful about making a field required. If there's any instance where the user would not complete that, for example, the rating of a subpanel. Well, what if there isn't a subpanel? So you can make it required, but always give them an option of NA or something like that. So you have some other things here, at least one photo and exclamation comment required. Admin only, this is for if, let's say, you're doing a review of the project before you submit to your customer, you can have like reviewer comments as a long text field. That way it doesn't bog down the field user, they don't even see it, only your admin would see it. So in this case, I've got a street address, it's required. Let's go back to only one photo is required. And this is, I want a photo of the street address. So if that's a marking on the home or a mailbox or something like that. Now I also have the option of standard or high resolution. This is going to be a photo, likely an address block. So I don't necessarily need that to be a high resolution. If this was a picture of a main service panel or a data plate, I would want that to be high resolution. That way I can read the fine print in the photo. Now you can also do conditional fields. So customer address is, this is better for Boolean where it says like, is there a street address, yes or no? And I can select, that question is yes. So I'm going to cancel this one out and I'm going to delete that. Oh, I canceled, so it didn't save. Also can easily reorder things here. Most important is to not forget to edit the overall template. So here I have the name of the template, I have the type it's assigned to, I have the report. I always suggest using this report, it's the most detailed. And then I have the display lines. So these are the display lines that show up in both the application and web app. So if you ever have one of these blank, I suggest go ahead and selecting one so it shows as much detailed information as possible when you're looking at the project views we saw earlier. The same with the media field. So this is that thumbnail photo that we saw earlier in the project view. So I want the front of the home photo to be shown there. So if it's not shown there, then it will be this image here. I can also make a default icon by choosing a different image. Let's say you have different icons, emblems for different types of projects that you want to use, that it would use as a default until the media field was actually populated. That's helpful to use in this case here, where I see an emblem instead of a photo, so I know that project isn't completed. Once I start seeing the photos, I know those projects were actually completed. So let me go through and look at users. So creating a user is very easy. Just create, put in the information. You've got your admin, user, customer, which will have some limited views if you want your customers to have a login, manager, and field user. The biggest difference here is going to be admin to user, which admin has all of these settings that we looked at before to create templates, edit templates, create users, etc. A user, which then can only see his or her projects and does not see any of the admin settings, or just a field user. The big difference between a user and field user is a field user can only access the mobile app, cannot log into the web portal. I find that making your field users, your field personnel users is best, because you never know when they may need to log into the web app for whatever reason. One quick note here, I can limit the field user by types, and this is the best way to use types is, let's say this role is actually an installer who doesn't do site surveys, only completions. I don't want to bog down their view with a bunch of other options or allow them to create site surveys. I only want them to be able to create templates from system completion. So I'm going to save that. And now the user only has access to those. So batch reports is a really good feature if you want to create a bunch of reports at one time. Pretty simple. You just do site assessment form and filter by status, report type, and put in your date range and create batch. And it'll, sometimes it takes a little bit. When you're done, you'll see this right here. It'll say in process before, then you can download the zip file. That will have all the reports together. The other thing that you can do is create, is import. So that just took a second to upload. So these are all the projects here. In this case, it was only the one. So you can do a bulk import. You select what template you want to import. Choose a CSV file and import those. And you've got the same thing from export. And advanced search is a nice feature that allows you to search by many of the criteria here. So that's a quick demonstration of SiteCapture. If you have any other questions, feel free to email us at support@sitecapture.com, or you can call us at 512-539-7590. Thank you for your time today. Goodbye.